Alright, let's shop for amps. So I'm going to start with addressing 3 of the most commonly asked questions and points. Number 1 is solid state versus tube. A lot of people, when they're shopping, they see these terms and they're just like, what do they all mean? Tube amps uses glass vacuum tubes to get their sound, and solid state uses transistors. To a first-time buyer, you just need to look into the back of the amp. If you see something that looks like a bulb, yeah, it's likely a tube amp. Now, if you're a beginner, first-time buyer, you likely won't need to be looking at tube amps. They're almost always more expensive. They're commonly much heavier. They're also commonly much larger. So no need to be concerned about tube amps for first-time buyers. By the way, welcome to the channel. This is a playlist called Ultimate Starter's Guide for Guitarists, in which I answer all the most commonly asked questions for people who want to start playing guitar but don't know where to start. So if that's you, I encourage you to check out the playlist. If you find something helpful, be sure to drop a sub. Also, be sure to check out the free PDF down in the description. With that out of the way, let's get back to it. And the next one is combo versus stack. Combo means amplifier and speaker combined into one unit. Now you're probably thinking, wait, amp and speaker, isn't the amp the speaker? That's technically not true, because amp is short for amplifier, and that's a unit that amplifies the guitar's electrical signal. It does not play sound on its own. You need to have a speaker in order to blast that sound out. So the 2 units are usually separated. That's the case in a stack. You have a head unit, which is the amplifier, and then you have a cabinet, which is a speaker unit. If you plug the guitar only into the head unit, you can't play anything. If you plug it into the cabinet only, you also cannot play anything. So only in a combo amp can you plug it into it and then just play it right away. Hence why, once again, for a first-time buyer, you don't need to be concerned about stack. It's most of the time more expensive. You need to buy 2 things, and usually stack are much larger than combo amp. So a combo solid state is usually where I guide my first-time buyer. And the next point is a very common misconception, which is wattage. A lot of people just look at that and say, oh, a 25-watt amp must be twice as loud as maybe a 10-watt amp. Not the case at all. Watt does not equal loudness. Just know that that is a marketing terminology,
because you could definitely have a 5-watt amp sounding louder than a 20-30-watt amp.
Alright, let's get into the meat of it, which is helping you pick out your amp. So for that purpose, I divided into 2 categories based on your application, because how you will use the amp is the biggest determining factor of what kind of amps you need. The first category is speaker, which is the kind that you can plug into and blast the music out loud. These are obviously ideal for people who have the luxury to have a room, to have a basement where they can just safely blast it out loud as they wish. Now, almost all amps come with headphone jacks, so you will also have the option to just plug into your headphones when you cannot play out loud. Now, as far as size, probably something in the 25 watts range or under will be more than enough for you to blast in your home. Now, in the speaker section, there's also battery power. As the name implies, it's powered by battery, either rechargeable or disposable battery. These are ideal for people who move a lot. Like myself, I used to move a lot, so I always prefer having a battery-powered amp. My Yamaha THR is such a wonderful companion. Some other common recommendations include the Roland Cube, as well as the super popular Spark by Positive Grid. Now, the next category is headphone category. Now, this is obviously for people who don't have the luxury to blast their music out loud. So maybe you have roommates, you have neighbors who are super sensitive, or you live in a thin-walled apartment, or maybe you have babies at home that you just can't disturb. First option in the headphone category is plug-in amps. These are just a small unit that you plug into your guitar, and then you plug your headphone into the unit. So some of the common plug-in amps include the Vox Amp Plug, and recently Boss and Fender also introduced their new units. On the Boss side, you have Katana Go, and then on the Fender side, you have the Mustang Mini. While I haven't used it myself, I have heard great feedback and review about both units. Now, another option in the headphone category is the mobile route. Yes, your smartphone can act as an amp. So all you need to get is a converter or an adapter that converts your guitar's plug into your phone, usually a 3.5mm, or in Apple's case, you would need to have a lightning jack or maybe USB-C. Now, once you have the adapter, you just need to download the app. Most of the time, it's free to download. Some of the most popular options are Amplitude by IK Multimedia, FX2 by Positive Grid, and if you're an iOS user, you can use GarageBand. Yes, GarageBand comes with amp modelers built into it. The next commonly asked question is effects, pedals, or multi-pedal. Do I need it? For first-time buyers, likely not. You still need to learn the guitar, so you need not be concerned about buying a bunch of pedals, especially analog pedals. they can run super expensive. One pedal can run you $50 to several $100. Multi-processor is probably a better bet. Like $200, you can get all kinds of effects. However, most of the beginner amps, like all the recommendations that I listed in the documents down below, they all come with a bunch of effects built in already. And all the battery power amps and the mobile apps, they all come with all kinds of effects already built in. You really don't need it. But if you would like me to dive deep on that topic, be sure to leave it in a comment, let me know. I can make a separate video just on effects. And that is everything about amp. Let's move on to accessories.